You know that feeling when someone tells you to start investing and you nod like you totally know what that means, and then you go home, open Google, and immediately want to close your laptop and never open it again? Yeah, me too. Index funds, expense ratios, portfolio rebalancing, dollar cost averaging. It sounds like a different language invented specifically to make normal people feel stupid. So we close the tab, we make a snack, we tell ourselves we will figure it out later, when we have more money, when we are older, when life is less busy. But here is the honest truth. Later is expensive, and investing is not nearly as complicated as the finance world wants you to believe. By the end of this video, you will understand investing better than most adults walking around right now. Not because you are special, because nobody actually sat down and explained it properly. Let us fix that. Why your savings account is quietly robbing you. Let me ask you something. You have some money in your bank account right now. It is sitting there, safe, untouched, feels responsible, right? Here is what nobody tells you. That money is losing value. Every single year. While you sleep, there is this thing called inflation. You have heard of it. It just means prices go up over time. Your coffee, your rent, your groceries, your everything. On average, about 2 to 3% every single year. Now your savings account at a typical big bank, it is giving you maybe 0.5% interest, sometimes less. So inflation is eating your money at 3% a year. Your bank is giving you back 0.5%. You are falling behind by about 2.5% every single year without doing anything wrong. Think about what $10,000 felt like 10 years ago and what it feels like now. That difference? That is inflation doing its thing. Your savings account is not evil. It is just not a plan. Investing is how you fight back. You take your money and you put it somewhere that grows faster than inflation can shrink it. Simple idea, powerful results. Let us talk about how it actually works. What investing actually is. Stripped all the way down, investing is just this. You give your money to something, that something grows over time. You get back more money than you started with. That is it. That is literally the whole concept. Now, there are a few different ways to do this. We are going to talk about the 3 that matter most for a normal person who is just starting out. Stocks, bonds, and index funds. Stay with me. I promise this is about to make sense. Stocks. When you buy a stock, you are buying a tiny piece of a real company. If you buy one share of Apple, you literally own a small slice of Apple. You do not get to walk into their headquarters and demand anything. Trust me, but you do own a piece. When Apple does well, makes money, releases something people love, the value of your piece goes up. When Apple has a rough year, your piece goes down. Stocks can grow a lot. They can also drop a lot. That is what people mean when they say stocks are risky. Not scary, just variable. We will talk about how to handle that. Bonds. Bonds are basically you acting as the bank. You lend money to a government or a company. They pay you back over time with interest, lower risk than stocks. Lower reward too. Bonds are like that reliable friend who always pays you back, but is never the most exciting person in the room. Steady, predictable, useful. Index funds. Okay, this is the big one. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Instead of buying stock in one company and hoping that single company does well, what if you bought a tiny piece of hundreds of companies at once? That is an index fund. The most famous example is called the S&P 500. It tracks the 500 biggest companies in America. Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all of them in one single investment. When the overall market goes up, your index fund goes up. You are not betting on one company. You are betting on the entire economy. And historically, the S&P 500 has returned an average of about 10% per year over the long term. Not every year perfectly. Some years it dips hard. Some years it rockets. But on average, across decades, roughly 10%. Compare that to your savings account at 0.5%. Yeah, index funds are the ordinary person's superweapon. And we are going to come back to them. Part 3. The thing that actually makes people wealthy. Okay, I need you to really hear this section, because this is the stuff that separates people who build real wealth from people who spend their whole lives wishing they had started sooner. It is called compound interest, and it has the most boring name for the most mind-bending concept in personal finance. Here is how it works. Say you invest $1,000. It earns 10% in a year. Now you have $1,100. Next year, that 1,100 earns 10%. Now you have 1,210. The year after that, 1,331. Notice what is happening. You are not just earning interest on your original 1,000 anymore. You are earning interest on the interest. Your money is making money, which is making more money. It keeps going. Now, let me show you what happens when you stretch this over time. If you invest $5,000 at age 22, and you never add another penny, just let it sit in an index fund averaging that 10% per year. By age 62, you would have close to $225,000. You put in $5,000. You ended up with $225,000. You literally did nothing except wait. Now, here is the part that will genuinely bother you. If you wait until you are 32 to invest that same $5,000 at the same rate, by age 62, you would have around $87,000. Same money, same rate, just 10 years later. Less than half the result. This is not motivational poster stuff. This is pure math. Time is the most powerful ingredient in investing. Everything else is secondary. This is why people who figured this out early are so annoyingly calm about money. They are not geniuses. They just started earlier and then left it alone. Okay, but I am broke right now. How do I actually start? Most videos leave you hanging. They explain the theory and then just say open a brokerage account like that means anything to a normal person. Let me actually walk you through it. Step 1. Deal with high interest debt first. If you have credit card debt sitting at 18 or 20% interest, that is the first place to invest your energy. Paying off 20% interest debt is a guaranteed 20% return. No index fund in the world can promise you that. Get that cleared before you start investing in the market. Otherwise, you are genuinely pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Step 2. Build a small emergency fund. Before you invest, have at least 1 to 3 months of basic expenses sitting in a normal savings account. Liquid, accessible, not invested, just available. Because if something goes wrong, your car breaks down, you lose your job, a health thing pops up, you do not want to be forced to sell your investments at a bad time just to cover an emergency. The emergency fund is your financial buffer. It is what lets you stay calm when the market gets bumpy. Step 3. Open the right account. In the United States, this means looking into a Roth IRA or taking advantage of a 401k if your employer offers one. In the United Kingdom, it is a stocks and shares ISA. Most countries have their own version. These are tax advantage accounts, meaning your money grows inside them with much lower tax drag than a normal investment account. That difference adds up significantly over decades. 4 platforms, Fidelity, Vanguard, and Charles Schwab, are trusted options in the US. In the UK, Hargreaves Lansdown and Freetrade are popular starting points. You do not need to overthink this step. Just pick one reputable platform, open the account, and move to the next step. Step 4. Buy an index fund and automate it. Start simple. Not individual stocks. Not crypto. Not whatever your friend is convinced is going to make everyone rich next month. A broad index fund, something that tracks the S&P 500 or a total world market index. Then set up automatic monthly contributions, even $50 a month, even $20 a month. The amount matters less than the habit. Set it up, turn on automatic contributions, and then here is the hardest part. Leave it alone. Do not check it every day. Do not panic when it drops. Do not sell because a scary headline showed up on your phone. The market goes up and down constantly in the short term. Long term, it has always gone up. Every crash in history has been followed by a recovery. Every single one. Investors who stayed made money. The investors who panicked and sold locked in their losses and missed the recovery. Boring wins. Panic loses. Part 5. The stuff nobody tells you. A few things that are genuinely important but tend to get buried. Fees will eat your money if you let them. When you buy an index fund, there is a tiny annual fee called an expense ratio. Some funds charge 0.03%. Some charge 1.5%. That gap sounds tiny. Over 30 years, that difference can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Always choose the lower fee option. Vanguard and Fidelity are famous for having extremely low fees. That is one of the main reasons financial advisors recommend them for beginners. Do not try to time the market. Timing the market means waiting for the perfect moment to buy in when the market is at its lowest. The problem is nobody knows when that moment is. Not professional fund managers, not financial analysts, not that person on social media with the charts. Research consistently shows that ordinary investors who simply invest on a regular schedule, regardless of what the market is doing, tend to outperform the people trying to find the perfect entry point. Why? Because the people waiting for the right moment often miss the biggest single-day spikes. And those spikes matter enormously over time. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The best time was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. Diversification is simpler than it sounds. Diversification just means do not put all your eggs in one basket. If you own a broad index fund, you are already diversified. You are not betting on one company or one sector. You own a small piece of hundreds of companies at once. That is why a single index fund is such a powerful starting point. You get automatic diversification without having to think about it. Your emotions are the biggest threat to your returns. This is the part most people do not want to hear. When the market crashes, and it will crash at some point, every instinct you have will tell you to get out. Sell everything. Protect what you have left. That instinct is wrong. Or at least it is expensive. The 2008 financial crisis. The COVID crash of 2020. The dot-com bust. Every major crash in modern history. In every single case, the market recovered and went on to reach new highs. The people who sold in a panic locked in their losses and missed the recovery. The people who did nothing, who just sat there and let time do its work, came out ahead. Your biggest job as an investor is not picking the right stocks. It is controlling your emotional response when things look scary. That is genuinely the hardest and most important skill. Part 6, the real talk. I want to be straight with you. For a second, investing is not a get-rich-quick thing. I know that is not what social media tells you. I know there are people online showing you crypto gains and option plays and portfolios that doubled in 6 months. Most of those stories are cherry-picked, incomplete, or just not true. The people who won big on a risky bet are loud about it. The people who lost everything on the same bet are nowhere to be found. The boring path, consistent investing, broad index funds, low fees, long time horizon, is genuinely how most ordinary people build real lasting wealth. Not people who started with inherited money. Not people with special connections. Ordinary people who started small and stayed consistent. It does not make for exciting content. You cannot make a viral video about putting $50 a month into a Vanguard index fund for 20 years. But it works. And it has worked for generations of people who did not have anything special going for them except the decision to start. Here is what I want you to know. You do not need to be rich to start investing. You need to start investing to have a chance at building something. The version of you 5 years from now is going to look back at this moment and either be really glad you started or really wish you had. There is no neutral option. Every year you wait is a year of compounding you give up. You are not too young to take this seriously. You are not too broke to begin. You are not too late. You are just at the beginning. Let me bring it all together really quickly. Your savings account is slowly losing to inflation. Investing is how you fight back. Stocks are ownership in companies. Bonds are lending money. Index funds are the smart, simple move that beats almost everything else for ordinary people. Compound interest is time working for you. The earlier you start, the more dramatic the results. And the path to actually doing it is straightforward. Kill your high-interest debt. Build a small emergency fund. Open a tax-advantaged account. Buy a broad index fund. Automate your contributions. And then leave it alone and let time do its thing. That is the whole game. There is no secret beyond that. No insider knowledge. No special strategy that the rich keep hidden. Just consistency. And time. The finance world spent a long time making this feel complicated because complicated things need expense, advisors and premium subscriptions and special platforms. But the fundamentals, the basics that actually build wealth for normal people, you just watch them explained in under 15 minutes. Now, the only question is what you do next. Start small. Start now. And let the math do what the math does.